trying to figure something out and I need your guys' help. I had a dream and I woke up this morning and I saw what looked like a statue of what resembled to me Thomas Jefferson, and that's what I was told in my dream. And then under his statue it had words inscribed. So in my dream I looked up closer and it said Mercer D. Fortis. I wake up and I'm like, shit, I gotta put this in the notes of my phone or I know I'll forget it. Put it in the notes of my phone, what I saw and the words. And for some reason in my mind, like when in my dream, I knew it was Latin. I knew it was Latin. So I'm like, that's weird. How did I know it was Latin in my dream? But when I put it in as Latin, it said Mercer D. Fortis means God's mercenary is strong. So I'm like, huh, this is interesting. And then I go downstairs and I have a vision. And what they showed me, which is really weird, in the dryer, in like the reflection of our dryer, which is like dark, they showed me working with like the tiles on our floor. And I always get visions with the tiles on our floor. Like they always look like people or faces or things. This can be like chalked up to science, where they say your mind tries to recreate actual images within what it's seeing. But for me, it's a little bit different because I view everything as some sort of symbology or some sort of vision, because it usually is, and it usually is accurate, which is weird. But anyways, well, it's not at the same time. But anyways, I look into the dryer and I see what they're showing me is a man who looks just like Thomas Jefferson. He's on a horse alone. There's no one else around him. And that's what I knew in my mind, like right away, okay, he's on a horse alone. I'm like, I wonder if I just assumed like he rode into battle alone or he did something alone. And then to the left of him in the sky, they showed me a total solar eclipse, or what I viewed as some sort of eclipse. So then, of course, I go to Google because I don't know much about Thomas Jefferson. If we learned about him when I was younger, like I don't remember much. Like I remember little things here and there. So I'm like, huh, this is weird. So I go to Google and there was an eclipse. There was an eclipse in 1811 that Thomas Jefferson, he was like more scientific than he was like into politics even. Or like wanting to even run for the presidency and stuff. It's very interesting. He was more of like a scholar, a philosopher, a scientist. And so anyways, he recorded it from his home. He documented it, and it was like 3 hours long or something, this eclipse. And I think it was September 7th of 1811. I could be wrong. I didn't write it down and I should have. But I have it somewhere here in my phone. But I can't click off of this video. So anyways, I'm like, okay, so there was an eclipse. And then they told me to look up about the horse and him riding alone on a horse. And I'm like, this is really weird. Well, here, every day, religiously, he would ride alone, horseback ride on his horse. And whether it was rain or shine or snowy weather, every single day he would ride. Whether he was sick, like it didn't matter. And he actually rode up to 2 weeks, I think it said, prior to his death at age 83. He rode religiously every day. It was like his escape. And he started doing that after his wife passed away. And it was kind of like, I think, a way for him to clear his mind and like ground and recenter and focus. And they're making some sort of reference here to, as the light this coming in stronger from the window, the sun, I think he was just trying to receive clarity. But I'm also getting like a message about light ship communication. Could be completely wrong. I don't know for sure. I can't confirm that. We'll just say I can't confirm that. But he would like sing. He would, talk to himself. He would get ideas. And it was like his little escape. And like other people would like recommend like, slaves that he had to go with him as like a fun outing so he wouldn't be alone, but he required to go alone every day. And I'm like, this is so weird. So weird. And then the mercenary thing. The mercenary thing is interesting because mercenaries are primarily concerned with making money at the expense of ethics. Are mercenaries good or bad? I think some are and some are not, because it says some private military contractors, or as they would be called, mercenaries, will fight for whoever pays them more. But then other ones will only fight because they believe in some respect, they believe in something. They fight only for a cause they believe in, okay? So some do it for money and some do it for a cause that they believe in. And some respect the rules of war and some don't. So it's all about intentions, right? And when it said God's mercenary is strong, it's kind of like a riddle. And I've been getting a lot of messages that seem like riddles. So what is this trying to tell me is definitely interesting. It also says that international law prohibits the use of mercenaries in armed conflict and under certain peaceful situations. So it's kind of weird, the whole thing. I feel upon further research, when I was doing further research, there was a feud that happened between George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And I'm trying to interpret this, and it's kind of confusing, but someone, and I think it was George Washington, but I could be wrong because I'm still reading it, was trying to tell Thomas Jefferson. So George Washington was trying to tell Thomas Jefferson something about the whole truth in relation to the government. And then what's interesting is something happened where I guess they had been friends. Someone was betrayed, is what I'm getting from the context of the article that I read. And after George Washington died, Thomas Jefferson refused to attend the funeral and basically in a sense was like, pfft. And his explanation was because of how exemplified George Washington was, almost viewed as this hero or a god or something, with how the government viewed him. And so something's askew there, and it's kind of biased, it seems, and I wasn't there personally, which I could try to bilocate and time travel and just kind of see a glimpse into, but I'm already overwhelmed as is. But something definitely happened between George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. There was definitely a feud. Martha Washington, George Washington's wife, apparently did not like Thomas Jefferson either. And it could just be because of political party interests, because they're saying George Washington he tried to remain neutral. He didn't really belong to a political party. He tried to enter as a nonpartisan candidate, as an independent. And it says, though he tried to remain neutral, the Federalists were without a doubt his party. And it's saying that Thomas Jefferson was Democratic Republican. So there was some sort of differential separatism between the parties, where maybe that's where the conflict was rising from. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like there's definitely something that is in there because of some sort of truth being exposed. And what that truth is, I still don't know. But I got a message. There was a feud between George and Thomas, something to do with the eclipse and some sort of timeline reset. The government is about to be exposed. There's something big coming. God will draw a line with his finger and across the land who is working for the devil and who is working for God. Something really big is coming, and I'm also getting something about dragons coming back. Okay. And so are you doing things with good intention, or are you doing things just out of the importance of greed? You know what I mean? So that's the message. Please help me interpret it as you see fit.